MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Well, looky. Josh Hennig still on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to Billy Schwein for letting me hang out with him for the last hour and change. Glad to have you guys on board the show today on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. We got a lot to get to here on the show. Eagles add a new wide receiver. What does it mean? Plus, this hour we will have the Ivy Rehab injury report because we will be breaking away at 1 o'clock for Phillies Diamondbacks today on 97.3 ESPN. You guys text to join the conversation, 609-403-0973. Big weekend for the Sixers and Flyers. Sixers salvage a win last night. That's what at least I'm going to call it. They salvaged a win. They didn't really win the game. It was, yes, there was little since they won the game, but they found a way to not lose it. Let's put it that way. I think that's more of what happened last night in that game. Also, on top of everything, Flyers, huge game tonight in Winnipeg. Hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. By the way, Vince over there, the big box you showed me before, the bottom left corner buttons. The broadcast tool switcher over there, bottom left corner. Hit that button. The two buttons on the bottom left corner. On the far left side. That's how you hear the computer. I'm just doing everything here on 97.3 ESPN. I'm not doing anything at all. No, I'm not hosting a radio show. Why would I be doing that? I did want to start with the Eagles. We'll get to the Phillies and that embarrassment last night. Some interesting information coming out about the Phillies, by the way, about the lineup and everything. We will get to that in just a bit. But with the Eagles trade yesterday, I think is a clear sign that the Philadelphia Eagles are going in a very, 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 very specific direction. And that direction is they are preparing for a world without A.J. Brown. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I say that. Number one, you don't give a guy a contract extension to be paid $12.5 million next year if you are not planning on that individual being a part of your plans long term. That's number one. Number two, you don't trade draft assets for a player to just be another guy on the depth chart. Number three, where did Dontavian Wicks come from? The Green Bay Packers. Who was one of the coaches on the Green Bay Packers the last 2 years? Sean Mannion, your new offensive coordinator. So it's very clear to me, at least, that the Eagles, while they may not be trying to go out of their way to get rid of A.J. Brown or trade him away, they're certainly not avoiding it either. And to me, that's where this all gets very interesting. I am very intrigued to see what happens this offseason when it comes to if the Eagles are going to trade away A.J. Brown. It's going to be after June 1st. We already know that. unless they get some kind of crazy offer. And I'm not one of these people who buys the idea that the Eagles, they won't trade A.J. Brown just because they haven't done it yet. Okay, Howie Roseman has made numerous trades from May through November over the years. I am not going to be one of these people who is obtuse to that. So what does Dontavian Wicks bring? Well, he brings is a skill set that can maybe not replicate what A.J. Brown does, but at least fills the void of A.J. Brown. Because Dontavian Wicks can play all 3 wide receiver positions on a field, which is important. Because if you look at the guys they've signed so far, they traded for Dontavian Wicks. They signed Hollywood Brown. They signed Elijah Moore. All 3 of those guys can play multiple positions on the field. Devontae Smith can also play both outside and in the slot. To me, that's a clear sign that they are going to go true West Coast offense. And in the West Coast offenses that are from the Shanahan tree that are run by Sean McVay with the Rams, Matt LaFleur with the Packers, obviously Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers, as well as other people. Cliff Kingsbury runs a variation of the Shanahan system in Washington. You also look at guys like Clint Kubiak, who was the Seahawks OC last year. Now he's with the Raiders. Kevin O'Connell with the Minnesota Vikings. One of the staples of this offensive system, but I'll throw in there Mike McDaniel when he was with the Dolphins. He's now with the Chargers. Is that there may be a hierarchy in terms of the best receiver, in terms of talent, but when it comes to the play on the field, there is not a true hierarchy. The West Coast offense is heavily predicated on distribution of the ball. The offense is heavily predicated on giving your guys the opportunity to not obsess over what the pre-snap determined throws are. It puts the quarterback in a position to let the defense, what we call declare, right? Let the defense go out there and show you what they are doing. And then turn it around and give the quarterback the tools that he needs to go out there and execute post-snap. One of the problems with the Nick Sirianni offense they've been running the last few years is that the Nick Sirianni offense, which is for lack of a better term, a variant of the Frank Reich offense that the Eagles ran in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. But the problem with that offense is that offense is very, very, very heavily predicated on pre-snap determination. But when the quarterback is post-snap, looking at the defense, if the defense shows you something that you're not ready for, you are DOA, my friends. You are donezo. And so for me, I think that this West Coast offense, it's obvious that they're going in a specific direction. And that's where Wicks comes in. 609-403-0973 is the text board. Josh Hennig hanging with you. Power Hour leading you up to Phillies baseball at 1 o'clock. Some interesting comments from Rob Thompson a little bit earlier. We'll get to that this hour as well. But the Eagles are clearly telling you that they're clearly telling you that they want to make sure that they have all the players humanly possible to help them be in a position to have life without A.J. Brown. And again, I don't think the Eagles are overtly trying to get rid of him. But as other people have said who are much more, dialed in, tuned in to the NFL than I am, people like the Jeff McClains of, the Philly Inquirer and, Adam Schefter from ESPN, Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated, they have all basically said the same thing. It's hard to go this deep down the rabbit hole of thinking about trading him and then not doing it all of a sudden. I think that's where I am looking at the Dontavian Wicks move as there's a very, very strong reality that next season, for week 1 in September, here in your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN, when Merrill Reese and Mike Quick are calling all the games, that your starting wide receivers are Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, and Hollywood Brown. Now, again, I am not personally saying you have to get rid of A.J. Brown. I'm not personally saying the only option is to get rid of A.J. Brown. I'm not even saying as to guarantee the Eagles are trading him. But you don't give a guy $12.5 million in 2027 to just be a backup. You're giving him that money with the understanding that whether it's this year or next year, he's taken on that starting outside receiver role. Don't forget, coming up in about 17 minutes from now, we will talk with Dr. Rich Maung. He is one of the physical therapists over at Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy Centers. Of course, Ivy Rehab with best-in-class physical therapy with over 80 locations around South Jersey. They're my physical therapists. They are the ones that I recommend everyone use here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. And I bring him up because one of the conversations we're going to have is about JT Realmuto and about his foot issue. And the lineup came out, and Realmuto was starting for the second straight day. So obviously the Phillies feel like that Realmuto, he's okay enough to play. Now, I will also say Realmuto might be the toughest guy on the Phillies roster, right? There's a strong possibility that Realmuto is the toughest man on the Phillies roster. So that's why he can play through a bruised bone in his foot, or maybe the average person might not. But they're going with this heavy left-handed lineup again. Same lineup as yesterday. Turner, Schwarber, Harper, Marsh, Stott, Garcia, Realmuto, Bohm, Crawford. And I said it to Mike Gill on the Sports Bass yesterday on 97.3 ESPN. I hate this lineup for two reasons. One, I have heard numerous people from around the game of baseball, former players, people who cover the game on a day in and day out basis, they have all said the same thing. Players don't like being moved around the lineup. Guys like to know when they get to the ballpark where they're hitting and to have some sort of consistency. Well, you're only running this lineup out there because Rob Thompson explained yesterday. They are only going with Marsh in this spot in the lineup because of the fact that there's no left-hander in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Here's Rob Thompson yesterday when asked by the media, why is Brandon Marsh hitting cleanup?
So Marsh is hitting cleanup tonight?
Yeah.
What kind of went into that decision?
Well, they don't have a lefty in their pen. So we just stacked the lefties all together at the top there. And so once you get down to Crawford, then it's 5 out of 6 or whatever.
So Rob Thompson told you right there. It's because they have no lefty in their bullpen. Okay. I mean, that sounds great. But guess what? When they get Monday and they're not playing Diamondbacks anymore, Marsh ain't going to be hitting cleanup. And that's why I say I hate this thing that the Phillies are doing. They are saying, well, this lineup is the lineup for now, but we're going to change it later. No, you should have changed it now. This whole idea that we're all going with this lineup for the Diamondbacks series, I hate it. I hate this idea that you keep moving guys around until we get it right, until we figure it out. Now, Rob Thompson told the media today that Adolis Garcia is a candidate to hit cleanup starting Monday. Thanks, Thompson. Thanks for telling us what the front office wants the rest of us to know. That's really what Rob Thompson is. Rob Thompson is out there as the spokesman for the almighty and powerful Dave Dombrowski and the Nepo baby Preston Mattingly. That's what these guys are there for. While Dombrowski and Mattingly get to hide in the shadows and be puppet masters, Thompson gets to be the spokesman for the organization. We all know that Garcia was brought here to hit cleanup. You just haven't chosen to hit him cleanup because you guys wanted to give Bohm a chance. You like Bohm. Well, Bohm's hitting like trash right now. He's doing real great now. You got him hitting 8 now. You buried him in the lineup. And this is not all the Phillies' fault. I understand that you got to go out there and play the guys you have. Rob Thompson was handed a flawed roster for another year in Philadelphia. Who would have thunk, right? The Phillies hand the manager a flawed roster. It's been the story of my life for the last 16 years. But you would have thought that Alec Bohm and Bryson Stott and Bryce Harper, that these guys would have come into this year with a little more professional pride, with a little bit of more professional desire for more from your ball club, from your offense. And you know what you're giving us instead? You're giving us horrible at-bats, poor approach, impatience, lousy swings. It's almost as if Harper, Stott, and Bohm are not taking the start of this season seriously. Now I know, in the most literal sense, that is not true. I know, in the most literal sense, that these guys want to win. I'm not ignorant of that. But perception becomes reality. Just like the perception of Joel Embiid is, the guy's never healthy. I don't care what he does. He ain't healthy. We should have him. The perception of Bryce Harper is, this guy talked a lot of you-know-what before the season, but now in the season, you know what's quiet is? His bat. You know, Alec Bohm came in. Oh, he looks great. He's in the best shape of his life. He came in here stronger, more powerful, more focused. Doesn't look like that. It don't look like he came in more focused. He doesn't look like he came in better than ever. You know what it looks like? It looks like the Phillies are a team that is very intent on not letting go of their egos. I made a joke with a buddy of mine. I said, you know, maybe the Phillies should all cut their hair. Maybe Bohm, Harper, all those guys, Marsh, they need to shave the beard, shave the hair. Because apparently, the only reason why you keep a haircut is if you have some sort of attachment to it. Let me tell you something. I don't know about you guys. I am not attached. I am not tied to the way this team is playing. And this lineup is an example of how ridiculous this team has become. And I just don't have time for it. I don't have the patience for it. I think that this lineup has done an incredible disservice to everyone in the Philly sports fan base. There are so many times that it feels like Harper is not putting his best foot forward. There are so many times where it feels like Alec Boehm is not fully focused. There's so many times where it seems like this team is not taking things seriously. Text board is open at 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig hanging out with the 97.3 ESPN Studios. Power Hour leading you up to Phillies baseball. I mean, what a miserable pitching matchup. Taijuan Walker versus Brandon Pfaadt. One guy's only here to eat innings, and the other guy's only here because they got another better option. Talk about the Diamondbacks. They need Brandon Pfaadt because they don't get a better option to start. And Taijuan Walker's basically here to eat innings until Zach Wheeler comes back. Absolutely pathetic. Absolutely, utterly pathetic and ridiculous. But you know what? Watch there be no runs scored because apparently the Phillies don't like to actually play baseball for a full 9 innings. All right. Also, don't forget, so we got the Phillies coming up at 1 o'clock. So programming note. So hanging with Hennig from 12 to 1 today here on 97.3 ESPN. Then we will go right into Phillies baseball here on 97.3 ESPN. First pitch scheduled for 1:05 today. Then I will be jumping back on for a Phillies post-game show. We'll be joined by Jeff Kerr live from the ballpark. We'll get his insights on whatever happened with the Phillies this afternoon. I also want to know from Jeff his thoughts on the whole idea of Adolis Garcia all of a sudden being this like, oh, well, he's a candidate for cleanup. Candidate? He should have been cleaned up all along, you could argue. Also, later today, we will be talking with Kevin Durso, our Flyers insider from 97.3 ESPN.com. Huge game for the Flyers in Winnipeg, 7 p.m. Puck drops. Tim Saunders on the call here on 97.3 ESPN. If the Flyers win out, they're in the postseason. But going to Winnipeg is not going to be easy. Going to Winnipeg is not going to be something simple for this team. So I am well aware of how important this game is tonight. So we got your Phillies, we got your Flyers right here on 97.3 ESPN. And coming up on the other side, we'll talk about the Ivy Rehab injury report with Dr. Rich Maung. He will join us coming up in about 6 minutes from now. Don't forget, the Phillies at 1 o'clock, Flyers at 7 tonight. And for all of your game-watching action, the Sixers tomorrow, 6 o'clock on 97.3 ESPN. If you're looking for a place to watch the Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Masters, which is on TV over my left shoulder, the place you want to be, go check out my friends at Hangtime Bar and Grill on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. They always have specials going on all year long for the different sports. Hear more about Hangtime Bar and Grill, and then the Ivy Rehab injury report is next on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the 97.3 ESPN studios, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios at Josh Hennig. Spring into fun with friends and family and enjoy your next night out at Hangtime Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. With live music every Tuesday night, DJ bingo every Wednesday night, and 30 TVs to watch your favorite teams play, good times and great food is waiting for you at Hangtime Bar and Grill. Check out Facebook and Instagram to learn more about Hangtime Bar and Grill's weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey on the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hangtime Bar and Grill.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in some Maflag Nissan.
We need your trade-in today, and we're willing to overpay.
At Maflag Nissan and at Maflag Affinity.
AJ the trade-in man will pay you up to $4,000 over a Kelly Blue Book fair trade value for any trade-in in any condition, even if it's not paid off.
New 26 Maflag Nissan Rogue, just $269 per month.
New 26 Maflag Matt Blatt Nissan Kicks, just $289 a month. Or finance select new Nissan or Infiniti at 0% APR for 60 months. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders can get almost anyone approved. Come see us today at Matt Blatt Nissan and at Matt Blatt Infiniti. And the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township. It's time to drop in some Matt Blatt Nissan.
With approved credit, go to mattblattnissan.com for details or 877-289-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. $1667 per thousand financed for 60 months at 0 APR through NMAC. Negative trade equity refinanced. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a cybersecurity engineer at a publicly traded company.
We've been hacked! They're through our firewall!
How is that even possible?
They got my password.
Please don't tell me your password was password.
It's actually password 1.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet every game like a Caesar and earn perks on every bet. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, all in one app. Download the app with promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bet. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland. All you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus, acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night!
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Don't forget, Hanging with Hennig being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app offering you Caesars Rewards. That means every bet you place on every sport does more for you. More opportunities for you to earn perks like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. It's the kind of treatment that every fan deserves, but only Caesars Sportsbook delivers. Getting started is simple. Download My download the app and use my promo code RADIO-DYW. And then place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet at $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings, $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And if you guys were listening when we had Pam Maldonado on last week, the Masters, she told you, don't be betting Scotty Scheffler. She's looking pretty smart right now. Although Rory's just run away with this thing. It's absolutely nuts at the Masters. We'll have Masters updates, of course, running throughout the day, today and tomorrow, here on your home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. It's time for the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. Ivy Rehab with over 18 locations around South Jersey. We are joined today by Dr. Rich Maung here on 97.3 ESPN. Dr. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Josh. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on the show. Really excited.
I appreciate you jumping on. So let's jump into it because I mentioned before you came on about JT Realmuto. Now, the good news about him is that he's able to get back on the field. He's a tough guy. He can kind of fight through it. But I think what people don't understand is the reason why he missed a couple days, which is he had the ball foul off his foot, and they said the x-rays were negative about no break, no damage to the bone. But the bone bruise apparently is kind of as at least the Phillies describe it, Dr. Rich, as hey, it's kind of like a pain management issue. Like, what can he handle, what he cannot? Well, people understand maybe you drop something on your foot. Maybe someone drops something on your foot, right? So the bone bruise in the foot is definitely an issue that someone can come into Ivy Rehab and deal with. So talk about it a little bit.
Okay, great. Yeah. So a bone bruise or contusion means that you didn't break your bone, but there's certainly an injury to the bone. And, it certainly happens when you have some type of a projectile at high speed, such as a baseball hit and striking your foot, or if you have something that lands on it. So if a patient comes in and say, hey, Dr. Rich, I was doing dumbbells and whatnot, and the dumbbell fell on my foot. Can you take a look at it? Let's say if the patient went to the emergency room and they got an x-ray and an x-ray showed that it wasn't fractured. It was concurred with a bone contusion. However, if you have an individual who comes in, says, I didn't go to the ER yet, can you take a look at it? So sure, I would make sure that the hallmark of a good assessment is getting the history and then going through a musculoskeletal evaluation to determine exactly what is going on with that patient. So, some of the things that we would look at is how did it happen, mechanism of injury, how much pain, is there swelling, is it bruising, is there limited range of motion to the foot or ankle. One of the clinical guidelines that we use is called the Ottawa ankle rules. So if a patient has tenderness along the inside, outside of their ankle, maybe along the midfoot or along the outside of the ankle, and generally can't put weight through their foot and ankle or can't do 4 steps, then that's usually an indication that, hey, maybe we need to get a radiograph on this patient just to rule out a fracture. So then at that point, we'd refer out to our physician partners to get necessary imaging as needed. So if we rule out a fracture on this patient, foot and ankle, so we would try to manage it conservatively. And the first thing is to try to control the inflammatory process with resting it, icing, compression, elevation. And then we would see whether or not they were able to bear any weight. And if we're having a difficult time, then we might give them like a cam walker or a brace just to offload the joint a little bit for joint protection. We would also give them crutches if necessary. As we progress, as the symptoms decrease, swelling, pain, then we would gradually introduce them to weight-bearing activities, making sure that they start getting some range of motion, some early strengthening and mobilization. And as the symptoms continue to decrease, then we would introduce more weight-bearing activities and more functional activities such as stair climbing, squats, and really just to get them back on track. I will say this, that it's something like this, if it's not taken care of or not addressed, it could lead potentially to a fracture if it's not seen from a professional standpoint, from a healthcare professional. As symptoms continue to decrease, then we would be very specific as to if it's JT, then we would definitely want him to be, if he's pain free, then start to get him back to more agility, motor control, strengthening, and back to specific sports activities. And again, every symptom, every diagnosis is individualized to the patient. So in certain cases, it may take longer, which I can get. It's frustrating, or sometimes it might go quicker. But some of the factors that come into that is how physically fit you are, age, exactly where the injury occurred. So those are all factors. And if you have any type of pre-existing conditions or comorbidities, that definitely will affect your recovery process and your timeline as well.
Now, really quick, as you mentioned about JT's got some of the best doctors available. He's got incredible medical, but the average person doesn't have that type of 24/7 around the clock. So explain to the audience, if someone has it may even be your foot, might be your hand, maybe you drop something on your hand, right? Anytime you're dealing with something that doesn't have a specific joint involved, right? Obviously, people may not know what to do about it. So, how does somebody take that step to say, hey, I know I need to do something about this, but what can I do about it? People, they don't always know what to do, Dr. Rich. Sometimes people, they just say it hurts. And then you gotta dig a little deeper into, let's figure out why it hurts, right?
Correct. And from that standpoint, you really have to, be proactive too at your health and reaching out to a healthcare provider, whether it's be your primary care physician, an orthopedic partner, or directly to us as physical therapists at Ivy Rehab. We certainly would expedite getting you within 24 to 48 hours, especially if it's an acute injury. The sooner that we can take a look at it, the sooner that we can get treatment, hopefully you'll be off to a good start, and the sooner you'll be able to recover and get back on your feet.
Talking with Dr. Rich Maung from Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy Center with over 18 locations around South Jersey. Best in class physical therapy. They're my physical therapists. That's why I recommend them here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. The other big injury in the sports world, Dr. Rich, is this whole Luka Doncic situation is very weird, okay? Because, one, the way he came up, I mean, there was no, he didn't land weird. He didn't, jump up and come down. He was only running down the court. His hamstring pulled on him. He grabbed it. He was out of the game. And now it's to the point with this grade 2 hamstring that he's getting second, third, fourth opinions and trying to go and get any type of physical therapy. So explain to the audience, what is a grade 2 hamstring strain is the first question. And the second is, what is the actual approach when it comes to rehabbing from something like that?
Yeah, great question. And I am no stranger to this injury. I actually had a grade 2 strain to my hamstring probably when I was, probably in my 20s, and it certainly was painful. So basically, there's 3 grades when you look at a soft tissue injury: a grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. Grade 1 is usually the least injury wise, and it just means that you pull your muscle, you overstretch it. A grade 2 is there's more involvement, where you actually have a partial tear of the muscle itself or the tendon structure. And that's a little bit more serious than a grade 1. And a grade 3 is the most serious, is where you actually have a complete rupture of the muscle or the musculotendinous unit that comes off the bone, which usually requires surgery. The positive about a grade 2 is that it can be treated conservatively without surgery. And so some of the signs and symptoms that you would see with a grade 2 strain is usually bruising, because the muscle will be torn. You'll see some bleeding, swelling, pain, certainly not being able to fully extend your leg, or having issues with trying to even walk. And so a lot of times these injuries can be non-contact, means that you're running, you're sprinting, you're jumping, and the mechanisms usually here are sudden acceleration, deceleration, pivoting, or twisting that can actually add mechanical stress to a point where the tensile strength of the muscle fails and you have a rupture or a rip or partial tear to the muscle itself. With that being said, the first thing is if it's an acute injury, we definitely want to try to calm down the inflammatory process. We want to address inflammation, whether it be to rest it, icing, compression, elevation, starting to promote the healing process, increasing blood flow, getting the nutrients, the products of tissue repair to that area, gently range of motion. You don't want to overstretch if it's an acute injury, but just nurse it along. Other factors that we can employ as healing occurs, as pain goes down, is to potentially try some aquatic therapy, some dry needling, anything that we have in our toolbox to help alleviate pain and decrease the mediators of inflammation. Once we have that under control, then we will certainly continue with range of motion, start some light strengthening not only to the lower extremity involved, but throughout the whole lower quarter of the core, because you have to take a look at this individual as an athlete, or all patients, and we want to look at them from a holistic standpoint, from head to toe. As symptoms decrease then, and based upon the physiological healing of the tissue, we want to progressively but gently add more loading to the tissue with strengthening, squatting activities. And once that individual is pain-free, then we would start to resume a little bit more dynamic activities such as motor control, hopping, jumping, skipping, strengthening, plyometrics, agility training. But before we get to that point, we've got to make sure that generally the patient or the athlete's pain-free and has a sufficient amount of strength to do that.
Now,
all these factors, are based on physiological healing. And typically, we would see a 4 to 8 week process for recovery. Sometimes it might be shorter, and sometimes it might be longer for many factors. So for that reason. Mm-hmm.
Now, so what I was going to ask you is that I think that what's important for people to understand is that because obviously the hamstring is a very large muscle. And, one of the narratives that gets put out there sometimes, because, the average person can pull a hamstring, they're playing sports, maybe they're chasing their kids around, right? Mm-hmm. But I think one of the narratives out there is about, hey, are hamstring injuries, are certain people predisposed to them? I think that's a curiosity question. It's like, some people, is there a muscle, not to get too technical, but like, is the muscle elastic enough, right? How are you strengthening your hamstring on a week-to-week basis? So like, how much is there that involved when it comes to hamstring issues versus just sometimes it is really a fluke accident?
I think that's a great question, and it can be all of the above. Like for an athlete who's in conditioned, it's just sometimes, exceeding the tolerances of their soft tissue, trying to push over their limits. So, a regular guy like myself or you, Josh, I mean, if on a cold day or whatnot, we're chasing our kids around or our pets, and we decide that, hey, our dog runs out and heading towards the street, we'll just try to run real fast, and we might pull that muscle because it's cold, it hasn't been stretched out or warmed up. Other times, if you do have a hamstring injury, pre-existing hamstring injury, then certainly you're predisposed to that injury again. So all these factors come into play. If someone who's pretty much sedentary and starts to exercise and whatnot, they just have to be cautious, and they should stretch out just so that they tend to warm up their muscle. So you generally see these types of injuries when an individual maybe doesn't stretch. Or just, starts a rapid acceleration, such as a run, without taking the time to stretch or warm up their tissues.
He is Dr. Rich Maung, of course, Ivy Rehab Injury Report today, of course, with over 80 locations around South Jersey. Best-in-class physical therapy. They're my physical therapist, and that's why I recommend them here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Dr. Rich, great stuff today. Really appreciate you jumping on.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate the time, too. Have a great day, and go Phils.
Go Phils. Hopefully they can win the game today. Here, of course, coming up at 1 o'clock here on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, Josh and Nick hanging out with you. And let me tell you really quick before we move on that, again, Phillies at 1 o'clock today on 97.3 ESPN. So we get the Power Hour going here. And then Flyers tonight at 7. And then we will come on from 4 to 6 after the Phillies game with the Phillies post-game show with Jeff Kerr, who's covering the Phillies up at the ballpark today, and our Flyers insider Kevin Dursa from 97.3 ESPN.com at 5 p.m. So you get a lot of meat today, hanging with Hennig, Phillies, Flyers, and of course, thanks again to Dr. Rich Maung for the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. Hey, coming up, we'll check back in on the text board, 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig hanging out with you, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
It's Phillies baseball on 97.3 ESPN. Saturday on ESPN Radio. It's a National League showdown at Citizens Bank Park.
Long gone! That ball was destroyed by Corbin Carroll.
Corbin Carroll leads the Arizona Diamondbacks into Philadelphia to face Kyle Schwarber and the Phillies.
Kyle Schwarber, and this place is going bananas.
The Diamondbacks at the Phillies. It's Phillies Diamondbacks later today on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 1 p.m.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Select menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and food. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland. All you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Spring Black Friday is on at the Home Depot. Save on grills and patio sets that will be sure to bring your hosting game up a notch. Fire up your feast with help from the Home Depot and save on grills. Like the Next Grill 4-burner propane gas grill was $249, now in special buy for $199. Or give everyone the best seat in the yard with the Hampton Bay Mayfield Park 4-piece conversation set for only $399. Save on grills and patio sets with low prices guaranteed during Spring Black Friday only at the Home Depot. Now through April 22nd, while supplies last. Exclusions apply. See HomeDepot.com/price match for details.
When you're vacationing in your RV, there are some things you can always count on. Taking the kayaks out on the lake, hot dogs on the grill, and your sister's boyfriend pulling out his acoustic guitar.
Everyone quiet! Harrison's playing. Wow, you're so good, Harrison.
With Progressive, your RV is protected 24/7, so you're prepared for whatever you don't see coming. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. Oh!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The Piccalilli Inn has been serving up world-famous wings and comfort food favorites for nearly a century. Every time you take the trip to the Pic, you're greeted with a smile and country charm you'll only find in the Pines. Skip the lane chains and get your chicken wing fix on Route 206 at the original Piccalilli Inn, Chemung, New Jersey.
Hanging out at the Piccalilli, no work tomorrow, everyone's happy, beers keep coming, tails piled high with friends and family, spirits to the sky.
Online at Piccalilli.com.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Just a reminder that if you go right now to prevailnutrition.club, and when you place your next order, use code Saturday at checkout, you will get 15% back in your digital wallet of orders of 80 plus. So it's very simple. You $50 or more, free delivery. Atlantic, Cumberland counties, plus Ocean City. $80 or more, you can get 15% off back into your digital wallet for your next order. From Prevail Nutrition, their My Meal Prep service, they should be yours as well. PrevailNutrition.club. You can follow me at Joshua S. Hennig on Instagram. You've been seeing, we've been doing a running series with me and Ashley talking about the importance of nutrition and health. I know it's very trendy in today's world, talk about real food, but it is a real thing. You do want to eat real food. It's better for you. It's better for your health. And we are glad to have Prevail Nutrition as part of Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. And you heard me talk about Craig A. Altman, the law firm of Craig A. Altman down in Vineland. Of course, they are joining us now here on 97.3 ESPN. And you've seen a lot of commercials about law firms for injuries. Well, they're not all here in South Jersey. Craig A. Altman is, with the little offices in Vineland. They are the place to go. Yes, you want to go check them out because guess what? You know, when you get injured, you probably don't have a game plan. Nobody plans to get injured at work or wherever it may be. So if you get injured, you need to make sure that you have the best of the best. And you want it to be somebody who is here in South Jersey. The law office of Craig A. Altman is here to help you. You don't have a game plan for injuries, but they do. Don't be taken advantage of by the insurance companies. Call them at 856-327-8899. That's the Vineland office, 856-327-8899. Locally here in South Jersey, backed by the power of a Philadelphia law firm. That's the law offices of Craig A. Altman. And they're a proud sponsor of sports coverage here on 97.3 ESPN. Again, Phillies coming up on the other side. Taijuan Walker, Brandon Pfaadt is the pitching matchup. So, Ken Rosenthal from The Athletic was on Fox Sports just a few minutes ago. He was asked about Bryce Harper And I wanted you to hear what he said because, again, this isn't me saying it. This is someone from, who covers the league on a day in and day out basis. And this probably might be the most objective analysis of Harper I've seen or heard anywhere.
At 7 for 13, 4 doubles, looking like the Bryce Harper of old, the guy we saw in the WBC hit the game-tying homer in the final against Venezuela. Now, the question is, are the Phillies going to be at that level too? Because right now, their offense is also struggling. Tied with the Red Sox, the 24th in the majors in runs per game. This is a team that has scored in only one of its last 29 innings, struck out 16 times last night. Harper is a guy who was challenged by their president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski, after the season ended. Dombrowski kind of zinged him, questioned whether he was still elite. Well, Bryce Harper doesn't need any motivation, but I expect him to try to be elite again.
It's an interesting analysis from Rosenthal because, first of all, Rosenthal, he doesn't cover the team, he covers the league as a whole. So he's kind of like a little outside looking in perspective. But you heard the 16 strikeouts he mentioned. That's a huge concern because even if Harper becomes quote-unquote elite again, there's no guarantee the rest of the team is going to pick up their pace. See, Harper might be hitting better recently, but it doesn't mean that long-term he's going to keep doing it week in and week out, which is why the other guys got to step up. Now, look, hopefully what he said is right, that, Harper's going to come back to form, or as Rob Thompson would say, he'll match up with the back of the baseball card. We'll see. I need to see the Phillies start doing it consistently before I can believe this offense is finally going to get off the schneid. You can find out the rest of us coming up next on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to Dr. Rich Maung for joining us for the Ivy Rehab Injury Report. Coming up next, Phillies baseball versus the Diamondbacks. And I will be back coming up at 4 p.m. to recap the Phillies game here on 97.3 ESPN. I'm Josh Hennig. Thanks for hanging with Hennig. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
It's Flyers Jets tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedor bring you all the exciting play-by-play action.
Does he do back in? He scores! Oh, what a goal by Owen Tippett!
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Flyers hockey all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey, 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.